Alright, Geordie Prepper here. Hope you're all keeping safe and well and preparing for the possibility of a second wave. All preppers were caught out by recent events, and I hope that you've all learned from the recent experiences. Crazy experience, really. I mean, it's something that we haven't all been part of before, really, together. But we're in it now, and obviously there was a lack of preparedness from all areas, and I wasn't excluded from that. But the key thing to take from the experience the first time round is that these areas where you are lacking need to be fixed and ready for the possibility of a second wave. And this video is really just to demonstrate one piece of equipment. It has various uses, but I'm just demonstrating it on one particular aspect because I think it's obviously a very important area. Food safety, making sure that you get what you eat and what you need, and that obviously we're getting our food now from external sources. We're no longer growing food for ourselves for the most part. Obviously there is people out there who are self-sufficient in this regard, but those of us who get our fruit and veg from other areas, this piece of equipment which I'm going to demonstrate is basically another step, and what actually is one of my best preparedness pieces of gear that I have. The use of it really just helps me to prepare and make food safe that myself or anyone else may eat. So I hope you enjoy the video. It's just a quick video just to demonstrate the item, and in this particular case, be safe, be prepared, and don't forget to check your preps. A big part and a big concern for people in lockdown during this whole pandemic has been maintaining a healthy and balanced diet. Also ensuring that you can get a hold and sustain the amount of food that you and others may need. And obviously obtaining that has changed throughout all stages. The food companies are obviously taking their precautions, but once you get it into your property and you're preparing it to put it on your plate, how do you know that the certainty of a cross-infection has been reduced? I mean, the infection rate and the possibility is probably very, very low, but obviously there is still a risk there, and the reduction of this risk, can be done through various things when you're preparing your food. That's where, for me, I've got an extra step in place, which is through the Ozonator. And this is where it really comes into effect for delicate fruit and veg, very, very intricate, structured sort of fruit and vegetables. So we're talking strawberries, which you can't really effectively scrub because you'll just destroy it. And in regards to vegetables, things like very intricate things like broccoli, you might be able to scrub the stem or whatever, but the very intricate parts of it, there's still the possibility that there could be something in there. It doesn't have to be a virus, of course. It just could be some dirt and something on that dirt which can cause you some problems. So the ozonator really comes in here because what it's doing is it's super oxygenating the water, which viruses and bacteria don't like. They obviously like a very acidic environment, which is low in oxygen. And it also, what it does is through the ball, which is basically a diffuser, it's just diffusing the ozone which it's making and creating bubbles. So through the bubbles, it's basically lifting any particles, and those bubbles are able to go simply where you're not able to. So it's basically lifting any particles off these fruit and vegetables that you place into a bowl, and then it's obviously super oxygenating the environment that the fruit and veg is in. So I'll just demonstrate the Ozonator in use, how I use it for my fruit and vegetables, and then obviously I would just encourage you to get an Ozonator yourself. They are very, very cheap. They run on very, very little power, so you can use them on a mobile if you have a mobile home, or if you have, if you're off grid. This thing will run on very, very minimal power, and it provides you with a very, very effective solution for disinfecting and sterilizing, not just on a small scale like this, where we're doing it in a bowl and washing fruit and veg, but obviously if you disconnect the hose and the diffuser, you can then obviously sterilize and disinfect large areas such as whole rooms or entire homes, room by room. Obviously there is the precautions to take in place, which I'll talk about when I'm showing you the next step here. So we have here the fruit, which I want to use the Ozonator with, and obviously I've pre-washed it, so it's very important to do some steps beforehand or after you've done it through the Ozonator. But effectively, once you've run it through the Ozonator, that's it, completely clean. So we take the fruit and we put it in a bowl, fill the bowl up with water, and then we take the hose from the Ozonator, which has the diffusing ball on the end, and then what you do is you just simply place the diffuser at the very bottom, so that obviously the bubbles and are rising and lifting any items or particles off the fruit and the veg, and obviously putting them free in the water, which is why you may want to rinse the fruit and the veg after you've done it through this stage, obviously. So you can see here that the bubbles are rising and they're just lifting off material from the fruit. I mean, you may not see it, obviously. This works at a very, very small level. Also, what it's doing whilst it's doing that is that it's pumping oxygen into the water, obviously. Now, the ozone is basically just oxygen with an extra oxygen atom. So what happens is that this trioxygen breaks down. It loses one oxygen and then it just becomes normal oxygen. So you have to give it time. Once you've done this, you should run the fruit and the vegetable in for 30 minutes with the Ozonator activated. Obviously you want to do this in a well ventilated area. Whilst it's running, you don't want to enter into the area where it's doing it, and once it's completed its cycle, it'll switch off, and you want to leave it for an hour once it's completed. And obviously make sure that nobody goes into the room until that 1 hour is fully up. And then obviously once you do is when it's finished, just go in and just take the fruit and the veg out, and it's completely safe to eat. There's no other process I don't think that you would have to do after this, really, unless you wanted to be double sure. You could do something else. That would be just entirely up to you, really. But essentially that's it. It's very simple, but it's a really effective piece of equipment, and I think it's something which a lot of people could benefit from having in their preps. So I've linked some links below to Amazon for the Ozonator, which I would recommend. You only need a basic one. So be safe, be prepared, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to reading your comments. Take care. Geordie Prepper here. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment and subscribe and share the video too if you did. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and some constructive feedback is always welcomed. The Preppers Discord server is always available to talk to myself and other preppers about prepping and other relevant topics. My other social media is on screen now. You can follow me there, and I usually just use it to post when new videos are available. Don't forget to be safe and be prepared, and also check your preps.